Look at me. Get ready to roll in 3, 2, 1. Let's go straight to the point. I'm killing these beats and the swag's on point. Word on the street is no one alive can mess with the boy. My pay table and get oak. Back in 2010, I still used to work from this room. I was writing songs. I was working with a producer called The Virus. Shout out to The Virus. I remember him coming through here. We used to work from here, making beats, and that's when he produced Recognition for me. We were in this very room, and it was an amazing time for me because I had not recorded a song, but I've been writing music for a while. So that was a magical time. Yeah, I remember from as young as when I was in grade 5. You know, my my earliest memory of singing in front of people was when I was in grade 5. I remember this other teacher of mine, Otong Lawrence. This guy, this guy, he used to do these talent shows in class. So being the guy who always used to like singing 2 songs on the radio, I got up there and I sang my heart out, and that was my first concert. You know, so it was a great response. I remember Casey and Jojo all my life. That was the song. I grew up here in Makoko West, way in Makoko West. So I grew up. I went to JW Timkulu School, primary. It's like 5 minutes away from home. And then from there, I went to Msizkay High School. That's where I did my secondary school. After that, I went to St. Bernard's High School. That's where I did my A levels. And then I proceeded to do my BCom accounting at Walter Sisulu University. That's where I did my undergrad. And then I did 1 year at Fort Hare University for my advanced advanced diploma in accounting. So so that's me in a nutshell. But yeah, like I said, it's all about the music from Msizkay. When I was in A level, I was studying commercials. So from that point onwards, I've always had a knack for business, and I always wanted to do something that was related to business. So it was not my first choice, I won't lie. I actually wanted to do marketing and business management. But unfortunately, those faculties were already full by that time. So I was awarded our accounting, and it was okay with me. I was like, no, what? Let me do this, and that's what I did. This is Kay, the musician. Ay. Being an artist is not an easy thing, and you need a strong support system behind you. You need family, you need friends. So for me, fortunately enough, my family was and still is very supportive of what I do. I'm the last born son from a family of 5 children. So that's me, my eldest brother, my other older brother, my older sister, and my younger sister. You know, so unfortunately, both my mom and my dad have passed away. But my mom was very supportive of my music, and I thank her for that, because if she hadn't made me believe that I could be anything that I want to be, maybe along the way I could have quit, you know, because this is not an easy road, it's a tough road. And all my family, they support the vision, you know, they understand the vision, which is why from time to time, when even if we have any challenges regarding the brand, I can even reach out to them and ask them to come on board and assist as well. Currently, I'm living with my sister. Yeah, it's a cool vibe. Bazovuma, hey, sleepless nights. Oh my god. Yeah, that album was amazing to work on. I never put on an album before Bazovuma, so it was for me very important that I make sure that the content is just right, everything is proper. So I remember working on the mixes for months and months, just listening to the song the whole day. You know, one song, you listen to one song the whole day, and then you listen to the whole album the next day, try and compare if all the songs sound the same. And yeah, that was a great vibe. And with Bazo Vuma, that's when I met Simon Mambazo Pil, who became a very important part of the path that I took as Msizkay, because we partnered up in putting out Bazo Vuma as well as putting out Bashiselo, you know. So Bazo Vuma, we put that one out in 2017 November, and then we put out Bashisela back in 2019 April. So since then, I've put out Ngawuzumoya Wami. Ngawuzumoya Wami was my only single for last year, my on single that I put out last year. It's an amazing collaboration that I did with our Kiwe and Nzo 7. It was a great moment, and I enjoyed working on that with those guys. And 2020 was an amazing year. I put out so many collaborations. Can't even count. I did something with Javan, what did Izela, produced and featured on that one which I did with Dr. MTK, produced and featured on December with the Shoemaker, featured on Asaf's Aspeli Moya and Back to December. I also featured on Happy with Fancy Ink, Drunky Daniels, and Vintage Culture, artists based in Brazil. So it's an exciting year. 2020 was an exciting year. So coming into 2021, there's gonna be way more music coming your way. This year, I'm gonna definitely drop a lot of singles, heading out to the album that is supposed to come out this year, my third album. I'm not gonna tell you what it's titled yet. And yeah, there's gonna be a whole lot of features from Msizkay. So many features, so many collaborations, and yeah, amazing visuals coming through. Some crazy numbers. Big shout out to Vintage Culture and Fancy Ink and Drunky Daniels. Those guys push huge volumes, and they have such huge followings, and it was an honor and a privilege to work with them, you know. So back in 2019, me and KOD, shout out to KOD, my homie KOD, based out in Gobalanda, from here in Bulawayo. We've been working together for a while, releasing a lot of dance releases, you know. So at some point in time, he had this opportunity to work with Drunky Daniels on production. So they co-produced an instrumental. And when Drunky Daniels suggested that they find someone to do vocals, and then he then said, no, I know a guy. So that became me. So we did a song together with Drunky Daniels that was titled Hello, back in 2019. It came out as part of their album Zabumba, that came out in 2019. So from then onwards, a relationship had been created between myself and Drunky Daniels. So that's when the follow-up was created, the idea of doing a follow-up track together. So that's when Happy came into the picture, you know. So we did Happy back in back in December 2019, actually. That's when they did the initial demo. And then it was fortunate enough that the unreleased demo was heard in Brazil by Fancy Ink and Vintage Culture, because Drunky Daniels was playing it at a festival, you see, back in January 2020. So that's when the whole collaboration was now established, you know. So it was a big honor to work with Vintage Culture and Fancy Ink and Drunky Daniels and the whole team behind the scenes that everyone did not get to see, you know. It was a crazy experience, my brother, I won't lie. It was such an experience that makes you grow, you know, as an artist and as a business person in the music industry. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm a pioneer of my own sound. I call it something Afro. It is, over the years, I had a lot of people telling me, no, man, you sound so unique. Your sound is not like anything that we are hearing out there. You should give this a name. You should give this a name because it is yours. There's no one else that's doing it. So eventually, over the years, as those suggestions kept coming up, I I ended up landing on something Afro. It's something African. It's a fusion of genres. It's not just one thing. It's more than one thing. Um, I, I don't know. I don't really subscribe to genres that much, because I believe music should just be music. You know, you do the music and you let the people decide whether they like it or not. You know, yeah. So that's the whole vibe of it. It's a fusion of sounds. You know. So and artists should be versatile, man. And artists should be able to jump from one genre to the other like it's nothing. You know, that's the mark of a great artist. You know, as well.
Music wise, who do you look up to, like locally and internationally?
Hmm. That's a tricky question. I usually subscribe to liking songs and sounds rather than artists, and trying to. I'm a fan of music, of the songs, not really the people who made them. But I do follow artists such as Ja Praiser on a local scale. He has a sound that I like. He has a brand that is impressive. Um, yeah, for me, he does amazing stuff. Like Usisu Sandra Ndebele, she has a great branding. You know, she has amazing music, and she always sets trends. You know, I follow her, and I'm inspired by her. You know, stuff like that. What I love most about what I do is making the music. You know, when you're in the studio and it's just you and the microphone, and there's no one there, just you and the microphone, and you're free. That moment when you're in the studio and you're creating, there was nothing before, and when you're done, there's a song, and you listen to it, and you're like, wow, I made that. It came from inside me. You know, it's an amazing feeling. I love that feeling when you make those tracks were released before Bazovuma, and I remember when I was working on those songs. For me, it was all about putting out music that would mean something to people. So I'm a film. It basically talks about being exceptional, you know, not being ordinary, you know. And Zonke is a track about wanting everything, you know, wanting to have that success, to conquer the world, you know. So um, both powerful tracks with powerful messages in them. So when I wrote I'm a film, I actually shout out to KOD as well, because we worked on I'm a film together. So when we were working on that, we made this beat, it had this vibe, you know. It was just so different from everything that I'd done up to that point. So when I heard it, I knew it needed that exceptional concept, an exceptional concept to go with the exceptionalness of the beat. So that's how we came up with I'm a Feeling. And then with Zonke just had that vibe, you know, that vibe that makes you want to jump, and that vibe that makes you want to get up, and that vibe that makes you stop and listen, you know. So that's why with that song, for me, it was a song about beating the odds, you know. Yeah, breaking breaking through and just winning. As a rapper, you know, you want to spread a message that say something that means something. So for me, those roots, starting hip hop, I always had that whole thing of saying, if I'm gonna say something, it has to mean something. So yeah, making such music that had that kind of message, it meant everything, you know. Because hey, Kelvin was an inspiration, man. Kelvin was so much. He was so talented. I'm so sad that we lost the brother Kelvin, and then that guy was so talented. Can't stress it enough. Okay, so me and Kelvin had the opportunity to do a track called Msizkay, which was for my album, and Ulindentoni, which was for his album. So it was a good feature for a feature arrangement that we had, and we were going to put that up for every album going forward. Man. So we did Mzilikazi. Mzilikazi was part of Bashiselo. It's an amazing track, just a story about sticking to your roots and being true to who you are, and not losing yourself to the world. And Ulindentoni was another motivational, inspirational song about not waiting, but going for your dreams and making things happen. Being in the studio with Kelvin was amazing, my brother. It was crazy how he would just like that come up with ideas, and even watching him do post production was something else, where he would mix vocals the way that he did it. He had his own way of doing things. It was unique and it was special, so you could always learn something from him. Being in the studio with him meant you could learn something from him. And working with him and putting out those songs actually led to more people getting to know about me. I still get people, even up to today, who come up to me and say, I first knew about you through that song that you did with Kelvin Ulindentoni, or that song that you did with Kelvin Umzilikazi. And now I'm a huge fan because of that. It just shows the power of collaborations and the power that Kelvin had as a brand and as an individual. For me, it's important to be real, because I figured if you are yourself, if you are true to who you are, and if you let that show in your music and in the way you live your life, I feel like people can easily relate. It becomes relatable. It tells a story that is yours. If you tell your own story, you can't tell it wrong. If you try and tell someone else's story, you'll probably not get it right. So for me, it's important to be real, to be who you are, to be yourself, to always be true to where you're from. Your roots are important as a person. That's where all the magic comes from. That's where all the magic comes from, being yourself and being real. What? That's tough. That's a tough one. I've written a lot of songs. I've written so many songs, and almost all those songs mean a lot to me, because they are pieces of me. They are stories that I've told that mean something to me. So looking back, I have a song in Bazovuma that's called "Walk with Me." It's actually a song. I'm not sure it's in Bazovuma or Vashisel. It's one of my favorite all-time songs. So if you don't know that song, make sure you go and listen to that song. It's a song called "Walk with Me" by Msizkay. Yeah, it's a beautiful song. It's in my first album, Basofu.
Awesome. What's the
ASAF, we started, the first track we did together was Made in Africa, which went on to be the soundtrack for the National Arts and Merits Awards 2019, the National Arts Awards for 2019. So it was an amazing experience working with him. And from that point onwards, we agreed to do more collaborations. So we also did Freedom, which was for his EP that he dropped, The People's Rapper, And then from that point, we've done 2 more collaborations, and we have plans to do even more collaborations. I don't want to drop Msizkay album without an ASAP feature, It's not going to happen. So looking forward to doing more work with ASAP. One of the best rappers that I've ever come across. One of the most influential voices that I've ever come across of our age today, He speaks truth to power. He speaks truth in his music. He speaks his life. He's ASAP, He's just all-round exceptional.
Awesome. Let's get back to
Everybody wants to know, yeah?
Yeah, everyone wants to know.
Yeah, I
There's
am.
someone special.
I am in a relationship, and I do have someone special in my life. But I like to keep that side of my life, away from the whole Msizkay side. It gets to be a distraction sometimes, So I do have someone special in my life, and yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm happy. You can tell by the smile. Hoha Music, it's a staple, I would say. The vision is to start a record label and sign yourself, nowadays with the music industry being what it is. So for me, Hoha Music is that baby that I'm trying to grow into an established record label that would eventually one day not only sign me but other artists as well onto it, so that we build an impressive and a machine that can push Bulawayo music, propel it to greater heights. That's what I want Buha music to be. So we've started it out because you have to start somewhere. So we're pushing. For now, it's just Msizkay signed to Buha music. But when I see potential, I like to jump in and assist other artists as well through maybe producing for them or helping them push their music. So I do have artists that I that are associated with Huha music, like Tariq Bravo. Shout out to Tariq Bravo. Shout out to Roxy. We produced for Roxy a lot of songs and pushed them as well. And shout out to guys like yeah, shout out to those guys. Yeah.
Awesome.
So what I've learned over the years is that you need to be consistent. It's very important to be consistent. Once you put out music, keep putting out music. Don't stop. And how you put out music, you need to put some thought behind it. Get an artwork. Get your producers to give you great beats. Get the sound engineering guys to make sure that the vocal sounds perfect. Have a great product, and then make sure that you market that product well. And you need to research, guys. You need to research. You can't be in a business that you don't know anything about. That does not make sense to me, because I get a lot of people asking me, how do you make it in the music industry? You need to research, learn a lot. So find out, if you do hip hop, find out which radio stations have hip hop shows. Who's the DJ doing the hip hop show? Is there a chart? How do I get on the charts? Is there an email for that radio station? How do I submit music? If you want to be nominated for award in your area, find out if who the award organizers are. Follow the awards online. You should know when the submission process is. They always announce these things, and then stuff like that. Do your research. Most of us, we want to make music, but very few of us actually know how to make money in music. Figure out how to put your music in stores so that you can make money from your music. Find out how you can make money making music through other means, such as brand endorsements, being a brand ambassador, being an influencer. You need to I'm not sure, but in Zimbabwe, I believe the most popular song that I've done is Nauzumwewan. A lot of people started to know about me from Nauzumwewan, and then they went back and started looking. A lot of people started to know about me from Bashiselwa. Songs like Nyazithandela was very popular in that album. So I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. But then, yeah, that's a big question. The vision is to grow the brand. Grow it into an African powerhouse, into an international powerhouse. To keep building the brand locally, grow it into a household name. If you can't say music without saying Msizkay in Zimbabwe, you can't say music without saying Msizkay in Southern Africa and in Africa. So just to make sure that you leave behind a legacy that will be remembered for years and years to come. Sure. All my music, almost all of it, is available online for download on online stores, for streaming on online stores. It's on iTunes, it's on Spotify, it's on Amazon. It's everywhere. And Msizkay, you can follow Msizkay on Twitter at Msizkay, Msizkay, at Msizkay on Instagram as well. Also Msizkay on TikTok, and Msizkay on Facebook, MSIZ_KAY. And I do also have a YouTube channel. You can check for my YouTube channel. Just say Msizkay and I'll show up on YouTube as well. So yeah, that's it. The best advice that I've ever received. good one. First time someone asked me that one. Um, yeah, I think some of the best advice that I've ever received is to not get carried away by a lot of the things that are going on around you. If you figure out that maybe this time around it's I'm a piano that is popular, you want to do an I'm a piano album. Next year it's a dance hall that is popular, you want to do a dance hall album. um, the best advice I received was to not get carried away. So just to stay true to who you are, keep the whole essence of you. You may experiment and do other things, but always remember the core of your style, the core of your brand. You know, what makes you unique. I think that was the best advice that I ever got. Msizkay, shout out to Smindlos. I have one of my oldest friends, Usmigi Migi, you know. Usmigi Migi used to have a flair for naming people, you know. So shout out to him because Caesar became Msizkay through Usmigi Migi, you know, was like, no, Caesar, man, we can't call you Caesar, man. You gotta spice it up. So for him, Msizkay was what that's what he felt like Msizkay should sound like. Eventually they stopped saying Msizkay and just cut it short and just started saying Msizkay, and that's how it started. What? I'm serious. I'm chill. This was my first ever award, you know.
In the club, how much we earn every month. But when it big statement, proofs of payment. I hate the police wanna lock me up. It's all just rumors, don't believe it. Everyone's jealous of the life